Today I want to take you on a journey through my favorites. But I want to do it with a twist, you'll see. Let's get into it. My name is Marianne, I'm an artist who does stained glass, fantasy, and all kinds of other things. So if you like any of that stuff, you should probably stick around because I have a bunch of really good fantasy favorites in this video. Yeah, that's right. I've prepared a little something for you. We're gonna make a favorites collage. It's gonna be a little shitty. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Favorites are like bits of treasure that you come upon by chance or at the end of a quest. Okay, the first thing I need to tell you about is really a need to tell you about because it is so good. It's genuinely made my year. It is this piece. Matt Hansel is an oil painter from the US, I think. And just look at this masterpiece. Just look at it. It's excellent. Obviously, technically beautiful, but also, if you look a little closer, you'll see that there are lots of little characters that seem a little bit out of place and that harken back to Bosch. Actually, a lot of these little details are directly copy-pasted, or I guess just copied from Bosch's work. This is called appropriationism? Oh, appropriation. I think it's just called appropriation. It's great, is the thing. This piece is huge. It's so big. I got to see it in person and it's amazing going up close and looking at all the details. So I really recommend you look up Matt Hansel's work. He's so much fun. He's so much fun. And yeah, that's my first favorite. Another artist I have really enjoyed recently is Annie Stegg. This is an example of Annie Stegg's work. She is also an oil painter. She does a lot of beautiful natural environments and then adds just a little bit of magic. And usually she'll paint lots of creatures. There's fairies, there's frogs. I think there's also a lot of gnomes, things like that. And I just love it. I have specifically really enjoyed using Annie Stegg's work in my everyday. So for instance, I have her, one of her pieces as my background. I unlock my phone all the time, and then every time I unlock it, I'm delighted. Who doesn't want to see a little gnome smoking his pipe with his friend the frog? Adorable. In the chest you go. The next thing is actually more of a platform than a piece of work. It is Audible. I don't have a particular allegiance to Audible, the platform. It's just what's easiest. But specifically, I've been using Audible because I have this book. Let's just say it's a little too big to actually read comfortably unless you're sat at a table and ready to flip the pages like this and your back is straight, which is never the case when I'm reading. This has just been the slowest read, first of all because it's big, but also because I just never picked it up. So I got the copy on Audible, on audiobook, and it has made all the difference, let me tell you. Now, just in case you haven't heard of this book, this is a prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree. They're both really good. If you're tired of very patriarchal takes on fantasy, this is the book for you. It has lots of dragons in it. The differences in cultures and religions are really interesting. Basically, if you like fantasy, you're gonna love this book. You should try it. Already we've got quite a few treasures. That's pretty cool. In a total change of register, I finally caught up on Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is a TV show all about a football coach from America who comes to coach soccer in England, and he doesn't know anything about the sport. It's a lot of fun. I will only recommend season 1 though, because after that, they changed their approach with the series and there's no more conflict essentially, which is a shame. It's a bit like The Office is kind of a comfort show. Well, Ted Lasso very much became that for me too. Continuing with media, this time I have a music band to recommend you, and it's Polyphia. If you like guitar, if you like electronic music, if you like hip-hop and pop, you might like Polyphia. They're this crazy blend of genres, really impressive guitar players. I will also recommend their music videos. The next thing I want to mention is another piece of media, I guess it's a video game that I've been dying to play for months and months, and I'm finally there, and it is Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is a Dungeons & Dragons video game. I will say it's one of the most accessible big games that I've ever seen, but I've always been intimidated by big games because You often have to be a really good video game player in order to get something out of those games. You have to have the reflexes, you have to know the logic behind it. I didn't really grow up playing video games. I played Animal Crossing, and that's kind of it. A lot of those big games, like even Zelda, just feel kind of inaccessible to me. Baldur's Gate, on the other hand, is turn-based, so you have time to think about your next move when you're in combat. And you also don't have to fight. There's a lot of exploration, and specifically what's amazing is the character options. The NPCs, the non-player characters that you encounter, have different dialogue options depending on your character choices, depending on the race and class you pick, depending on the background you pick. It feels like this game is endless in terms of options. The story's really interesting. I mean, I could go on and on about Baldur's Gate 3. It's kind of taken over my life and I love it. If you have the chance to play this game, it's really expensive, but it's worth it. I have another book to mention, and it is The Art of Fantasy, which I actually have right here. I bought this for myself at the Louvre-Lens Museum when I went to see their mythical creatures, fantastical creatures, I think that's what they called it, exhibit. What I love about this book is that, yes, it's an anthology of fantasy art, but it includes a lot of contemporary art. And often I find that the contemporary art selection can be a bit lacking. Not in this one. So this book is great for inspiration. I also found out that Victor Hugo, the writer, was also a visual artist because one of his works is included in the book. It's super interesting, really, really cool to flip through. Definitely lots of inspiration in there. So that's another book that I recommend. I kind of have to mention this one. This is another video game, Hogwarts Legacy. Has to be mentioned. I'm not as enamored with it as I am Baldur's Gate 3 because it feels a lot more restrictive. It's very linear. You have to do things in a specific order. Some of the mechanics are a little bit clunky. However, if you love the world of Harry Potter, if you love specifically the artwork, if you're a fan of MinaLima, who are the designers behind the Harry Potter films, this is just inspiration galore. You can explore the castle, but you can also explore the surroundings. There are a million details to enjoy. So honestly, this game, just to get into the wizarding world and kind of get inspired, is really beautiful. Also, as a stained glass artist, there are just a million stained glass windows and they're all incredible, and I would love to be able to zoom in and like get a perfect PDF version of it, like a clean image, because I just wish I could admire them better basically. But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, really, really beautiful. I have a bit of a random one to share, but I think you're the right audience for it, so bear with me. I have got a Quidditch jersey kit, or Quidditch sports kit. Basically, it's what I wear to go to the gym, and it's from a real life Quidditch team, actually in the region. Let me show you. This is what it looks like. This is the jersey I wear. There's also matching shorts with a snake on them. What can I say other than this makes me feel powerful? It makes me feel cool. I never feel cool when I wear regular clothes to the gym, so this is great. As an aside, I had an idea a few years ago that I really wanted to make true, where my dream was to create gym apparel or sports apparel based on fantasy. So this is the closest thing. It's honestly not pricey, and it makes a huge difference in my gym routine. I freaking love it. So thought I'd mention it. Oh, this next one is really fun. It's not so much a thing, it's more so a lucky event. I went to visit an apartment, which actually we got and we're gonna move into very, very soon. But in the neighborhood, I found this really nice little park, and in the little park, I stumbled upon a fairy portal. That's right. This is near my house, and of course I had to take a picture of myself going through the fairy portal. I ended up having tea with the fairies. I then felt a little iffy for a couple days. I think, never trust a fairy, really. I told them my name. I made all the beginner mistakes. It's fine. We're gonna be neighbors, so I have time to repair that relationship, I'm sure. But I just love finding little things like that in the everyday where you're like, that's a piece of magic that I just never expected to be here. Another favorite is that I finally got my guitar back. That's right. Do I play the guitar? Now, kind of, yes. I took lessons when I was a teenager. This is more or less what my guitar looks like. It's a beautiful folk guitar. Look, I'm not a particularly good guitar player because I never properly learned, if we're being honest. But this time around, I'm doing it properly. I'm starting off with the basics, learning progressions, and I don't know, some theory. We're still very early days, but just doing little bits here and there, little bits of practice is bringing me so much joy, and that's what it's all about. So my guitar goes on the favorites. And then let's talk about my art. What kind of things I've been making recently. Actually, here's something that you haven't seen yet. Definitely something that hasn't been featured in a long video for sure, and that is my dragon zine. Why I made a dragon zine, I'm not entirely sure. I've been following a zine creator for a bit, and then, I don't know, a couple things kind of fell into place, and I was like, I want to do something creative that's different. I'm gonna make a zine, and it's just gonna be low pressure, it's gonna be easy, and just pure fun. You know those books, I don't know if you had those growing up, but growing up I did have like the handbook on how to be a girl, and it's not so much like gender specific, but it's more like, you're a young girl, what are some things that you need to consider? Like tips on friendship, tips on being yourself, tips on just being a human essentially. And I thought, what if dragons had something like that? And so I made a few pages and I made it humorous and simple. So the first page says, protect your hoard. Clean hoard, clear mind. And then the second page, fake it till you scale it. Be yourself, but fiercer. And then you move on to a bit of a physical exercise page. You know, go out, go for a fly every day. It's good for your health. And then, you know, at the back, trust no wizard, because indeed, wizards can't be trusted. So I made that super quickly, just one evening, and it honestly brought me so much joy, and then kind of sparked more ideas for future projects, maybe stained glass projects inspired by this. So definitely recommend making a zine. It's easy. If you've been around for a little bit, you have seen this piece that I've made. It's my 666 sign, which kind of lives on my desk right now. Black on black, it's a little bit hard to appreciate, but yeah, this is my first stained glass piece back. And it was a lot of fun to make. I'm also still working on a little cat piece, which you might know about if you watched my latest video. This one still needs finishing, but I'm excited to be making actual stained glass again. I really hope you liked my favorites, and maybe you found some new favorites of yours in my list. That would be awesome. If you have things that you've really enjoyed recently, please share them in the comments so we can all enjoy them together. And if you're like, all of this inspiration makes me itch for a little creation myself, I have just the video for you. It's right over here. I steal some art and I make it into my own, so definitely come along for the ride and we can be creative together. Bye!